Coming up tonight on Idaho News 6, a U.S. government advisory panel has endorsed Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine, but that doesn't mean it's got the green light just yet. We'll explain what comes next. Plus, local health districts are already working on their vaccine distribution plans. We'll explain when you'll be able to get one.
And coming up in my Idaho News 6 weather forecast for the Magic Valley, the changes start to come in this weekend. We're going to notice blustery winds developing even during the day tomorrow. We'll have some snow over the weekend, and I'll have your ski reports coming up next.
The Magic Valley's new choice for news. This is Idaho News 6.
Good evening, Magic Valley, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Natasha Williams in for Roland Barris. COVID-19 was the leading cause of death in the state of Idaho for the month of November, according to the Department of Health and Welfare. The news comes on the heels of a record-breaking day. Yesterday marked another major spike in Idaho's COVID numbers. Data from our news partners at the Idaho Statesman shows a record 37 new COVID-19 related deaths. That makes for 84 COVID deaths in Idaho in just the last 4 days. We also saw a record 1,800 confirmed COVID cases Wednesday. Combined with probables, that's a record daily total of 2,231. According to the Department of Health and Welfare, the coronavirus is the third leading cause of death in Idaho this year, trailing behind heart disease and cancer. And Governor Brad Little held a press conference this afternoon announcing Idaho will remain in stage 2 with no new initiatives to combat the virus. Meanwhile, officials warn Idaho is drawing closer to implementing crisis standards of care at Idaho hospitals. Idaho News 6's Steve Dent reports.
My fellow Idahoans, we should all care about the situation in our hospitals right now, regardless of our views on COVID-19 and the pandemic response.
The growing number of coronavirus cases and hospitalizations is pushing healthcare capacity to its limit in Idaho.
We're not there yet.
But Governor Little went on to say crisis standards of care could happen in the near future if Idaho doesn't change course.
Crisis standards of care guides decisions about how to allocate scarce resources, such as hospital beds, medications, or breathing machines.
Idaho has never implemented crisis standards of care, and caring for people with the virus has already been hard enough on frontline workers.
The reality is, I see illness and loneliness and fear and isolation. I see so much suffering.
People in Idaho are dying, and St. Luke's nurse Kristen Connolly wants the public to know these are not numbers. They are people.
We carry these stories with us like in a pack. These stories that we haul around with us every single day. I think of this mom every single day.
But despite the dire situation, Governor Little will keep Idaho in stage 2 without any changes.
What I want is compliance. My goal is to get compliance.
But compliance hasn't been working, at least not in the Treasure Valley, as we witnessed this week.
My 12-year-old son is home by himself right now, and there are protesters banging outside the door.
Governor Little condemned protesters showing up at local officials' homes and vandalizing the Anne Frank Memorial, but he didn't issue any new mandates or initiatives.
I do have that authority, and I haven't said I wouldn't use it at some point in time, but the secret is compliance. I want people to comply, to voluntarily go out and do the right thing.
Steve Dent, Idaho News 6.
The governor also highlighted the steps his administration has taken to help the healthcare system, including distributing personal protective equipment and rolling back regulations to promote telehealth. By the way, if you'd like to watch that full press conference, we did stream it live on our Facebook page. Just head to Idaho News 6 on Facebook. Much more of the day's news coming up in just a moment, but first, Chief Meteorologist Scott Dorval joining us with an early look at your Magic Valley forecast. Scott, big changes on the way.
Yeah, certainly. This weather pattern it's been needing to change. It's been since the third week of November that we've had these dry conditions. And now, finally, when it changes, it's really going to change for Idaho, and the Magic Valley will get some share of snow as well. Not a tremendous amount over the weekend, but it will increase through next week. Let's take a look at the temperatures today. Our high temperatures a little on the chilly side, 37 degrees, similar to yesterday. Actually cooler than yesterday and cooler in Burley, down to 39. There's going to be a westerly wind coming in with a cold front tomorrow that's going to start to bring in some of that cooler air from the west. Right now we're at 33 degrees with fairly light wind, humidity at 72%. So overnight tonight, I still expect a mostly clear sky. However, some high clouds will start to approach, and towards morning, there could even be some snow showers or snow flurries in the higher terrain. That will especially be the case tomorrow night into Saturday for the higher terrain for the ski resorts. And notice the forecast for the day tomorrow, my day planner. A lot of cloud cover to start the day. There could be some snow showers around or in the morning, then a blustery cold westerly wind, despite the fact that some sunshine will come out. We'll only have a temperature around 37 degrees, which is where we were today, but it's going to feel colder with that wind. And Natasha, I've got my ski report coming up for Pomerelle Mountain and other area mountains as well. We'll take a look at how much snow is expected for those higher elevations. We'll look at my extended forecast coming up.
And you're definitely not going to want to miss it. Thanks, Scott. The CDC recently adjusted its data board and found new data surrounding COVID-19's impact to Hispanic and Black Americans. The data found the Hispanic and Latino community is more affected by COVID-19, but also, according to the CDC, they are now dying at higher rates, along with Black Americans. Health experts say a variety of different factors could be causing the disproportionate numbers, one of them including a lack of health care.
And part of this is because of access to medical care. Part of this is, especially in our Hispanic and Latino demographics and populations, it's in access to information in Spanish. We have a whole bunch of obstacles that public health, before this pandemic ever started, has constantly been trying to knock down.
Coming up tonight at 10, Idaho News 6's Stephanie Garibay will take a deeper dive into these numbers and look into how local health districts are working to combat the problem. A unanimous vote by the State Board of Education sends a clear message to Idaho school districts: follow the governor's safety orders or risk lawsuits. Today's discussion centered on spectators at extracurricular school activities, specifically sporting events. Right now, under the Stage 2 state order, only 10 people can gather in a show of support for Governor Little. The board agreed they must step in to help protect the health of students and educators and allow for in-person learning whenever possible. So they enacted a, quote, stay healthy resolution. The order requires schools to limit spectators to state guidelines and warns failure to do so could result in legal liability. The board left it up to each school district to figure out how to enforce this mandate. Still ahead on Idaho News 6, health experts say a COVID-19 vaccine is on the horizon, but when it's time to hand them out, who gets to go first? We'll explain how it will work. And coming up next, a major step forward in the vaccination campaign for the virus today. We'll explain what's coming next.
This is Idaho News 6.
A U.S. government advisory panel has endorsed Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine, a major step forward in the vaccination campaign for the virus. The Food and Drug Administration is expected to follow the recommendation issued just hours ago by its expert advisors. The advisory group, in a 17-4 vote, concluded the vaccine appears safe and effective against the coronavirus in people over the age of 16. A final FDA decision is expected within days, and then millions of vaccines would ship for healthcare workers and nursing home residents.
America's FDA, Idaho's FDA, is known around the world as the gold standard for assessment of medical products. We do a very rigorous scientific review, and unlike many other regulatory agencies in other countries, we actually look at the raw data. The raw data from the application, we do our own assessment of it, we do our own statistical analysis, and we draw our own conclusions.
The FDA commissioner told Idaho News 6 reporter Nicole Camarada he does not want to prejudge the decision that could come anytime soon, but he and the FDA feels the decision will come before the weekend. And when the time does come to roll out that vaccine, local health districts are working to make sure they're ready. Idaho News 6's healthcare reporter Alex Grant has been following this story very closely and has the details on how the South Central Public Health District is preparing.
The most likely vaccine to be approved is the Pfizer vaccine. Officials from South Central Public Health hope for a late December delivery. However, they are estimating only 1,000 doses in the first batch and will have to prioritize who receives the vaccine by order of the state.
Mostly healthcare providers, people that are either extremely high risk because of their career or are absolutely necessary in providing that vaccine, or are in very close contact with people who are high risk because of their various circumstances like age or situation like in long-term care facilities.
A large amount of planning has to go into the distribution process due to the short lifespan of the vaccine and to ensure it doesn't go to waste.
It has to be used within 6 hours of being removed from its super cold storage. And this cold storage isn't something that you can achieve in a regular freezer or refrigerator. It requires a very special, very expensive freezer to keep it safe.
To try and find ways of storage, the district has been in talks with multiple organizations like CSI and medical facilities like St. Luke's, who provided a statement saying, "We are collaborating with the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare and our public health districts to plan for all aspects of administering COVID-19 vaccine when it becomes available. St. Luke's will provide vaccinations per the guidance of the health districts." Since there is a limited number of vaccines, the district has also been touching base with these facilities to see who is willing to take the injection.
How many staff members do you need vaccinated or are willing to be vaccinated? So we know exactly how many. And then if we need to do something like try to coordinate a vaccine distribution that involves more than one facility, then we can do that right from the onset.
In Twin Falls, I'm Alex Grant, Idaho News 6.
Coming up next in my Idaho News 6 weather forecast, we're going to talk about the ski report just in time as snow will start to fly in Idaho's high country. My complete extended forecast is coming up next.
Meteorologist Scott Dorvell with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Well, snow will be flying in the high country, and that means a ski report. We got to let you know what's going to be happening here. We'll start with what's going on up at Sun Valley, where the mountain is open right now. They've got lots of trails open. In fact, let's take a look at the numbers here. And as we do, snow will be flying in central Idaho, certainly a little bit this early weekend, and then it will start to pick up on Sunday and all through next week. Sun Valley's got 40 trails open, 6 lifts operating right now with a 25 to 30-inch base. Remember, they have snow making on much of the mountain, so they've been handling this snow drought well, but the snow is headed for the higher elevations, certainly. Pomerel Mountain, 3 lifts open daily, I should say open weekends, so this weekend, and then next weekend they'll start opening daily, so next Friday they're going to open for operations. That'll be 7 days a week, 16 to 20 inches of snow. Magic Mountain still has a 10-inch base. They need that one good storm, and eventually they'll get it, so they may not be able to open this weekend, but they'll have a good likelihood of opening either during next week or getting it set up for opening up next weekend as snow starts to fly on in. Map's not working out perfectly here. It shows 3 inches at Magic Mountain through Sunday and 2 inches at Pomerel, but actually those peaks nearby are going to be getting 5, 6, 8, 10 inches of snow, and so that's a little bit more than what you're seeing right there. Good news, certainly coming on in. Our Canyon Cam Twin Falls shows that temperature at 33 degrees. Wind is on the light side. High temperatures today into 30s throughout the entire region. So I showed you that already, but I wanted to show you what's coming in from the west. There's a cold front here to the west, and that cold front is working its way onshore. This is kind of our first little front to come on through, and that will kick the wind out of the west tomorrow. A chance of some snow showers ahead of it tomorrow morning as the system is moving on in, and then eventually behind it we get some westerly breezes that will kick in, and we'll get a blustery cold feel to the day. So behind that system, as it sweeps on through, this low pressure will then dive to the south, and it's going to go a little further to the south. We've got advisories in northern Nevada for some appreciable snow, but I think again Pomerel and Magic Mountain should do okay with that storm system coming on in. Just a lot more moisture to the west. The subtropical jet stream is going to really start to line up and point towards Idaho, and a series of storms will be coming in as you move through next week. So here's that futurecast that I'm showing you there with the colors, and you see the deeper blues there. That's a 1 to 3, 3 to 6 inch type of snow. That's through Sunday. Notice how there's a chance of some snow accumulating along the interstate. Over the weekend, 1 to 2 inches of snow. You get a little further north to Jerome, maybe a little bit more than that. As you're heading up north towards the Camas Prairie, certainly that is the case. This is the 10-day forecast. The charts are actually showing Pine, Idaho with 40 inches of snow. That's some pretty significant snow, and you can see our mountains to the south are doing pretty well, and the eastern Magic Valley are likely to get some snow out of this as well, a lot this week. It's just going to keep going off and on. My East Central Mountains forecast, snow showers northern section, so Stanley, maybe not as much as Sun Valley, becoming partly cloudy later on, and then partly cloudy in the northern Magic Valley tomorrow with the mid-30s, but a blustery westerly breeze. There are those morning snow showers for the western Magic Valley and the higher terrain of the southern Twin Falls County. A temperature staying in the 30s tomorrow, that blustery westerly wind developing, and there are those snow showers pushing through, and the snow hanging around Palmerell probably a good portion of the day tomorrow, and then into tomorrow night as well, ahead of that next system moving on in. So there are some forecasts you see for Friday, 37 degrees, and then on Saturday only 35, snow showers in the morning. It's actually going to get a little sunshine a little later on, but then on Sunday the snow will increase at least 1 to 2 inches is a good bet, and we could be seeing another 1 to 2 on Monday, where the higher elevations are going to do well. A pretty impressive series of storms coming in. Natasha, this is a wet pattern or a moist pattern with snow and some rain, but a good deal of snow as you see every day, Saturday through Thursday. We've got a threat of precipitation coming in, so much better than the last 3 weeks of just next to nothing.
And honestly, like a pretty decent amount for the ski resorts. And Pine, 40, wow, pretty awesome. Thanks so much, Scott. Coming up next on Idaho News 6, Idaho health districts are prepping for vaccine distribution, but what will it look like on a national scale? We'll take a look in Your Health Matters. As the country prepares for a COVID-19 vaccine, a new poll finds only about half of Americans are ready to roll up their sleeves. The data shows room for improvement. About a quarter say they have no plans to get the vaccine, but the other 25% that make up that half say they're not quite sure yet. Many on the fence have safety concerns and want to wait to see how the initial rollout goes. Health experts estimate at least 70% of the U.S. population needs to get the vaccine to achieve herd immunity, and states across the country are already gearing up to give them out. So when can you get a vaccine? Mandy Gaither tells us it depends on your age, your health, and your occupation in today's Your Health Matters.
Help is on the way. Vaccines are imminent.
The first to get vaccinated for COVID-19 in the U.S. will be some of those hardest hit by the pandemic. Frontline healthcare workers and support staff and residents of long-term care facilities.
We'll be starting to get vaccine doses in people's arms by the middle and end of December, and then more in January, more in February, and as we get into the late winter and early spring, a lot more.
The next groups to get vaccinated haven't been decided yet, but in January it could be more healthcare workers and other essential workers like emergency medical techs, firefighters, and police. By February, vaccinations may move to other facilities like pharmacies and medical practices and to high-risk adults. In March, it's possible that the U.S. will still be in phase 1 of vaccination simply because of the sheer numbers involved. By April, if more vaccines have been approved and brought online, it's possible phase 2 of vaccinations could begin. This group might include K through 12 teachers and staff and child care workers, as well as other critical workers such as retail workers and transportation workers. Young adults and children would have to wait until phase 3, likely to be May at the earliest. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The federal government has promised that any coronavirus vaccine will be provided free of charge to the American public. Here's a live look from our Terry's Heating and Air Canyon Cam. Chief Meteorologist Scott Dorval will be back with a final check of your Magic Valley forecast coming up next.
Well, cold temperatures are around today, and we'll get a blustery cold breeze blowing during the day tomorrow after a front goes through with some morning snow showers. That's right, snow showers tomorrow morning. Blustery cold winds setting the stage for more snow later this weekend. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you at 10.
Watch Idaho News 6 on your favorite streaming device. Portions of Idaho News 6 are brought to you by Optum Idaho.